Golf Central on YouTube, brought to you by the Epic Speed Driver from Callaway.
Gets underway Thursday morning here at Kiawah Island in South Carolina. Pete Dye's Ocean Course. It is a beast, particularly if the wind blows. Rory McIlroy loves it here. Why? Well, in 2012, when the PGA Championship was last held here, he won by a record 8 shots. Rory McIlroy with Damon Hack.
It was an 8-shot win for Rory McIlroy back in 2012, but Rory, you're a different person, a different player with a different shot shape off the tee. But how much is applicable from that week 9 years ago to this week now?
Yeah, I mean, it's golf course is pretty much the same. They've added a bit of length to a couple of holes, but it's a different time of year. August was like hot and humid. The grass around the greens was really lush and thick, and you got great lies off that paspalum. It's a little linksy in places this week, dry, windy. So it's going to be a tough test. I think if the wind keeps up and stays in this direction, you're going to have holes that you can take advantage of, but then those last few coming in are going to be brutal.
Got a 19th win a couple of weeks ago at Quail Hollow. Even as you're incorporating new things into your swing, how important was it to get that win under your belt going into such a huge week like this?
Yeah, I mean, I keep saying like the win was wonderful. It was great to get another win, but I think more importantly, just to see that my game is on the right track. I'm progressing. I hit some really good shots when I needed to on Sunday. I went out in the final group and shot a really, apart from the last hole, I didn't make a bogey. I played really solid golf. I was 4 under through 17 holes in pretty tough conditions, and it's the first time that I've done that in a while. So whether I got the trophy at the end of it or not, I was just really encouraged by the golf that I played.
You have a PhD in winning on Pete Dye golf courses here, Crooked Stick, for example, TPC Sawgrass. What distinguishes this golf course from those tests?
The green complexes are maybe a little different here than other. There's a lot more runoffs. This is, the greens are almost more like a Donald Ross style green. A lot of runoffs, a lot of like upturned saucer. So I think a lot of the test this week is just going to be really disciplined with your second shots into the greens, not getting too aggressive. Knowing that hitting it to 30 feet's okay. 2 putts, get out of there. So just really being disciplined in your approach and not chasing too much. And I think the guy that does that the best this week is the guy that's going to have the best chance.
Best luck this week.
Thank you.
All right, Rich Lerner with Brandel Chambly and Justin Leonard. How do you like Rory's chances this week?
Look, great news and bad news. Great news, obviously, that he's on his winning ways again, and he putted beautifully en route to victory at the Wells Fargo. As a matter of fact, I think it's the best his putting stroke has ever looked.
Wow.
And you're not going to win golf tournaments, certainly not going to win them by wide margins as he did here in 2012 without making more than your share of putts. But even though the corridors out here are pretty wide, because this is a links golf course buffeted by strong winds, so Pete Dye allowed for some wiggle room off of the tee. His driving was a bit of a question at Wells Fargo, and oddly enough, that's a golf course where you can win straying from the fairway. Many winners have won there, including Justin Thomas, who won the PGA there, only hitting half the fairways. There was only one player all week that hit fewer fairways than him, and there were only just a few that missed them by a wider margin. So he's going to have to have shored that up before he gets here and before he gets into the hunt, I would argue. And just did.
Right. No, I think, coming off the experience he had here in 2012, coming off a victory where, let's think back to the players in the Masters. Rory McIlroy looked lost. He looked defeated even, and really didn't have a sense of what he was trying to do, what direction he was going to go. And for him to really get to work, and Pete Cowan's now part of the team, and along with Bob Rotella and Brad Faxon's been working on the short game for some time.
It's a good team.
That's dream teamish.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, actually it is.
I would say, and so that, and this is such a heavy breeze here, being so close to the coast, and I think it's a pretty heavy breeze when it blows in Ireland, where Rory grew up, and now he's living, down in Jupiter, and the breeze is pretty heavy down there. So, you have to like his chances this week.
Rory's tee time Thursday morning as he tries to do what Tiger did, win PGA Championship at the same golf course. Tiger did it 99 and 06 at Medina in the Chicago area. And I mean, this is a powerhouse grouping here. Justin Thomas, who's second in the world, Brooks Koepka, who's twice a PGA champion, 4 majors on his resume. Justin Thomas now with the media.
It's easy to fall into the trap of wanting to perfect it and wanting to maybe get it to get it to look a way that you want it to look. Very similar to, I think, what a lot of people, and I've done it in the past with my golf swing. You know, I maybe don't like how high my hands are and how it, you know, maybe it looks coming down or halfway back, when in reality, if I'm hitting the shots that I want, it doesn't matter how it looks. And it's very similar to putting. And I'm very, very feel-based and very artistic, if you will, in terms of seeing shots and hitting different spins on chip shots, pitch shots, whatever it is. And I need to take that same outlook into my putting. And that's something John and I have really kind of focused on, is that, you know, my mechanics and my fundamentals, that's what these 3 days are for. That's what my off weeks are for, is to make sure that those don't get too far off. But once I tee up, I have to just go be athletic and be artistic and just go out and hit the putts at the speed that I want. And that's something I did on Sunday at Quail Hollow, is just tried to be less perfect and just more feel-based, and I putted the ball beautifully, even with 2 3-putts there. So again, like I said earlier, I've been working hard on it, and I feel a lot better about it. It's just about maintaining that throughout the week.
You like what you hear there, Randall?
I do. You know, it's great to hear a player talk about being artistic, and you know, you'd be hard pressed to find a player, I think, more athletic, more artistic than he is. I've lauded his golf swing forever. He, even his father, and if you remember, Mike, coming up on our set in 2017, his father said when he was 5, 6 years old, he'd go out to sort of check his progress, because he'd kind of leave him off alone, sort of hands off, and he'd say, "Hey, Pop, look," and he was hitting low cuts and high draws. It's like, well, what are you going to say to a 5 or 6 year old? So he's still plenty artistic.
Well, and that element has to transfer through the bag. You can't sit there and move shots around on the driving range and then chip everything with one club, you know, one height and everything. That has to go through the bag for it to be natural. And I think it's so easy with all the data and information and video and statistics that we have and that players have. It's hard not to try for perfection, but it's important not to. As you said, you know, perfection's been the demise of quite a few athletes, especially in this game. And so for him to realize it doesn't need to be perfect or doesn't need to look exactly the way that he wants to. As long as it's producing what he wants with the ball flight, with the, you know, the irons, or on the greens, he can see the line and feel like he's rolling it to his spots. You know, that's a key for freedom, which everybody's trying to get out here. And that's a key for, like, from day to day, being okay with things feeling or looking a little bit different.
Quickly, you mentioned Brad Faxon, our good friend. He raced by the set in his golf car. He's out getting a look at the course. He'd never been here before this week, and he said, holy fill in the blank. I mean, this.
I think it was Cal.
This place is all you want, especially if the wind blows. Right?
Oh, it certainly is. And players have their handful. It's going to be fascinating to watch how this week unfolds.
At my age, it's all you don't want.
You're very good sitting right where you are. Longest golf course in major championship history here at Kiawah.